We're so super fired up to have Shelley Zalis, a pioneer, a role model, and a mentor to me and to many in the industry. She's the real voice that we follow, and she continues to be the one that pushes us forward. She's the founder and CEO of the Female Quotient, which is committed to advancing gender equality in the workplace. Welcome, Shelley.
Hey, Shelley.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to be here, Gary V, with you. Andrea, thank you for such a great opening, but admiration, inspiration, partnership, true collaboration. Gary V, there is no better partner in the world than you. So thank you for all that you are doing.
Shelley, listen, we're about to inspire an enormous amount of people, and specifically just an enormous amount of women that are watching this right now. Please tell everybody what the Female Quotient is. Like, this is one of the, by the way, for everybody who's watching, who's on now for the second week, last week we spoke about it with Gail Tippard and with Carolyn Eberson. This is what I was referring to. So now you're seeing the inventor of it, the brains behind it. Shelley, tell everybody about this extremely important organization that I was trying to inspire people in other industries outside of marketing, because you're queen bee in this world. You've pulled it off. I want this energy happening in every industry around the world because it's needed. It's powerful. It matters. And I'd love for you to take the floor for a minute or two and really paint the picture.
Well, you know, the energy is infectious, and it's a pay it forward moment where we all inspire each other and support one another. And one of the things that is just so important for all of us to realize is we've been admiring all these problems. It's time to activate the solutions for change. And we talk about we're better together. A company alone is power. Collectively, we have impact. And we have historically been going backwards on gender equality because we've all been doing the same thing in silos. What if we all could be doing the same thing together and divide and conquer? And that's how we make progress. It's about forward movement. So the Female Quotient is all about advancing women and advancing equality through the power of collaboration. So
how do you make that practical? So that's the mission. What is it? Is it a club? Is it a virtual club? Give me the whole 411.
So the Female Quotient is all about when you add more women to any equation, there's a return on equality. You know, more is always better. And we do that through pop-up experiences at big industry conferences. And of course, now we've pivoted completely to virtual, which we can talk about. We also are inspiring the next generation, our future leaders. You know, they're not the next generation. And Gary, you know this better than anybody. They're the now generation.
100%.
This generation is active. They have purpose in their DNA, and they live with truth and transparency. That's what they care the most about. So how do we fill the pipeline, but also map the pathway for them to get to leadership levels? Because we know we start 50-50. We end at less than 17% in the C-suite. How do we create that pathway for success and get them past the messy middle, which is where most women fall out? And then we just launched, which I'm so excited about, and I can't wait to talk to you more about this later, a dinner series to unite the world through the power of women in over 100 countries. And that we have migrated completely virtual. And it is such a powerful, like you can feel this energy through the Zoom. You know, it's just
100%.
Powerful. Right? It's amazing. And then, you know, it's not just creating this support system and community, but we also have to do the hard work in the workplace. So we do these boot camps to help Fortune 500 become equality fit and close the gaps, parity policy pipeline, mapping out the pathway for success. And so put all those things together, and that just creates the forward momentum, the forward movement for all of us to make progress, big or small, just keep pushing forward.
Love it. For everybody who's asking, because it's blowing up, Shelley's Twitter is her full name, which I think you see in the screen here, SHELLEYZALIS. Shelley, how'd you get into that? Like, you know, you have a pretty amazing career. What was the transition for you to start this organization?
Well, I pioneered online research. So that was that moment in my life. I talk about heartbeat moments, and Gary, you live and breathe this very well. It's not the cognitive, because then you justify why you shouldn't do it. And then, You talk, and then you have that imposter syndrome, that voice in your head, I'm not qualified, no one else has done it, so why me? All that shit. And so we just have to eliminate all that and believe in ourselves and push forward. And that's where the fear and the challenges come, and where you have to be brave and courageous. And so I had this inspiration to migrate research from offline to online, but I was the only female CEO top 25 my entire career. And then after I sold my company to the third largest research company in the world, I was one of 2 women on a board filled with men. And I was sitting in a board meeting, and they were talking about my team, my people, as numbers. And these tears came down my eyes. Like, I know my people very well. I hire for passion, train for skill. Unless you want to be a doctor, lawyer, or an accountant, you might need a little more skill in certain areas, textbook knowledge. And I was pulled aside after the board meeting, and I was told that there's no room for emotion in the boardroom. And
I'm in big trouble. If there's no room for emotion in the boardroom, I've been in big trouble for the last 5 years, 15 years. All I do is bring emotion to the boardroom.
And you can't use expletives, so you'd be in double.
They would kick me the fuck out every time.
Exactly. That would just not fly. And it was just, again, that heartbeat moment that I had, that my differences, I really know are my greatest strength. And why is there no room for emotion in the boardroom? And so what do? You either agree and shut the heck up. Go ahead and say it.
I got you. Shut the fuck up.
Add my words. Or you go and give a speech, which you and I know how to do quite well, to thousands of people. And the title was Bring Emotion to the Boardroom.
Good for you.
And what we are seeing today is these soft powers, resilience, collaboration, passion, empathy, nurturing. These are the greatest strengths of leaders today. And so 100%. Why are we hiding these invisible strengths? Let's make them visible and shout them from a treetop and get everybody.
You know what's funny? I apologize for interrupting, Shelley. What's fun about this, for everybody who's watching, hashtag marketing for the now. I have the back room while I'm doing my interview. So like Shelley's talking about emotional, like things that aren't black and white. And in the corner of my eye, I see Todd Kaplan, who VP of marketing at PepsiCo, who I'm just going to give him a nice compliment because it's just actually what I thought. And I want this to flow. Who's one of the more natural, creative leaders that we work with. A lot of times people that run businesses are making the judgment on creative, but they're actually just great operators. Creativity is just, Shelley, what you and I have about emotional intelligence, that's mommy and daddy having sex at the right moment and giving that to us. So is creativity, right? I mean, a lot of this is serendipity. And we put a huge, my biggest issue with the ad world is subjective creative decisions are heralded as a person can do that, and we make a lot of wrong calls because it's hard. Yet, to your point, kindness, empathy, other things that are gray, because that's gray. Being good at making a subjective creative call is as gray as it gets. Yeah. Yet, to your point, humanity, which let's just call it what it is, boys were taught, the boys that run a lot of companies say were taught to not be emotional by their mothers. Let there be no confusion. Boys that grew up in the 50s, 60s, 70s were taught that boys don't cry. You don't show emotion. They were all their EQ was forced out of them by culture. By 99% of them, by the way, by mothers. That was the culture. So, this is about really looking at this in a 360. To that point, me making that point, the thing I admired so much about the Female Quotient is when we started becoming friends, I'm like, I want to be a big factor in this. And you're like, yes, this isn't an organization that has kept out the guys. I've been on many panels at Cannes and other places that you've thrown events where, I've been very proud to be, we're on the boys panel, but like, I love that. Like, I love when I'm on the boys panel because I'm so tired of going to conferences where it's the girls panel or the diverse panel. We need so much more integration. And I think, when you were saying the boardroom, I was like, yeah, just start your own boardroom. That's what I did, by the way. The reason I'm not getting kicked out of boardrooms is I started my own boardrooms, dominated, and now I'm invited to boardrooms, and all of them know exactly what they're getting when they're inviting me. And you've done the same.
Well, you know, it's why I have my self-proclaimed title that became well known of chief troublemaker. You know, you got to break the rules that make no sense and write the new ones, because those rules just really, and who made those rules? And so when I started the Female Quotient, it really started to take on the boys club. As you said, I wanted to go to CES, a technology show, 150,000 people, less than 3% were women. And even for someone like me that was the CEO of a market research company, put me in research, I knew everyone. Put me in tech, I knew no one. Now I know you, so I know everyone. But I knew no one. And so what do you do when you're afraid? You don't go, or you call your girlfriends and say, go with me, let's walk the floor. And two remarkable things happened. One, every guy's head turned. 50 of us showed up on the floor, this power, you know, packed women, and every guy was like, where the fuck did you all come from?
Love.
And we're like, here we are. And, you know, a woman alone is invisible. You put us together, you can't miss us. You know, we were that moment that you couldn't miss. And the second was I was surrounded by people just like me with some of the same challenges. And we were sharing based on real life experiences, the good, bad, and the ugly. So if there was a boys club, there was a girls lounge. Opposite a boy-girl club lounge, girls lounge was born. We've connected over 50,000 women in this group. But if we want true change to happen, as you said, we now evolved to the equality lounge. It is not gender equality is not a female issue. It's not a male issue. It's a social and economic issue. We are all in this together. And so we have to just call it, it's a leadership issue. Leadership 100%. Is still predominantly men, and caregiving is still predominantly women, but we must work together.
And meanwhile, when I tell you this, caregiving, what I know more than the number one observation I have is when I think about the 100 couples that I know the best, half of them should switch roles.
Of course.
Half. The woman is the alpha, the beast, the maker, and the male is the nurturer. It's like half.
Yeah. Well, I think that caregiving starts at home. Equality in the workplace starts with shared responsibility in the household. And I think that we're seeing, you know, we can talk about all the problems with this pandemic, this crisis, but we can also talk about all the opportunities, which is what you talk about all the time. There's this silver lining of remarkable. And, you know, we can't be looking back at what was and what isn't. You know, when we talk about this new normal, or, you know, we're all waiting and watching for what the hell no. Let's create a better normal, and let's get rid of the junk in the trunk that we didn't like. This is our moment. You know, Tariq brought that up so brilliantly. This is our moment to take what we want, close that door, open a new one of equal opportunity, equal pay, you know, equal everything. And that starts with what we are experiencing together in our households.
I'm not letting you leave. I'm not letting you leave without talking to me about the women's championship WWE belt behind you over your shoulder.
How awesome is
so that? Awesome. I was so fired up. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm so into this.
Let's just check this out. So this is my official, it weighs like 50 pounds. It's my WWE belt, but here's the best. Can you read what that says?
Not yet. Chief Troublemaker. I love that. Chief Troublemaker. So good.
Stephanie McMahon made me my own belt because I am truly the greatest WWE champion that is probably not good in the ring, but I am the greatest champion out of the ring. And it's just this amazing. So she schlepped that belt to Cannes from New York. It weighs in its own little case. And to tell you, in about 100 degrees in Cannes, I was strutting my shit on the closet in Cannes, wearing my fabulous belt. But it's really, for me, it's that awareness that we all have a part to play. We're all champions. You know, I see Kory with her superwoman, you know, background. Yep. We're all superheroes if we take that opportunity to fly. We all have the power to fly. If we choose to.
We have to choose to not listen to the feedback.
You know, it's like all that noise out there. You know what? Get over yourselves. And, you know, I always 100%. Say equality is a choice. Unconscious bias is an excuse. I'm so sick of this word unconscious bias. If you use the word unconscious, you are conscious.
1,000%.
Do
Love.
something.
Love.
And, you know, and I think that that's really what this is all about. You know, we all have the power.
And look, We're not going to be tone deaf to what's going on. We have a very important moment in this country is forever systematically going to have issues around race. It is the DNA of America. No different than Europe's issue with anti-Semitism. It's real. It's forever. And we're in it right this second as we're filming this. And my great hope is something. Just, we need some dominoes to fall. We need it. We need it. And
we need to push the dominoes.
100%.
We can't wait and watch, because legacy runs faster than reality every single time. It's time to change the trajectory by pushing the button,
but it's execution. The thing I admire of you, and I'm going to get to the next thing. We got Jesse sitting, but Shelley, the thing that when we talk about change shit, the only way that happens is every individual person does something about it. There is no it. There's on a human level. Like, I hope these 20 minutes, like, I'm going to say it again. This has become an obsession of mine that I haven't even told you about. What you've done in our collective comms, marketing, business, media. I want this in sport. And when I say sport, I want it in every league. Like, there is power in that community. Nothing excites me more than when I have to go to a conference that I know that there's a girls' lounge, because I always sneak in there and it's Girls City. Like, it's, like, you guys are spying it up. Like, you guys are doing it in the same, because I'll tell you why I love it. I actually get upset, not upset. I want people to be more thoughtful. We have so many women who I am friends, my friends, I'm invested in, like, will often say when there's like 6 guys together making a joke at not a bad joke, like talking about sports, that they'll make a reference in current culture of like, oh, look at this boys club, as if it's a negative. We got to be careful to not demonize guys doing their thing. And why I love the girls' lounge is women, especially in your generation, overreacted to not being girly, because that's what the fucking bullshit establishment did. So when I go into girls' lounge and it's fucking Girls City in there, the rosé's pouring, the nails are going, the hair, like, you're really doing it. But I also know that the 57 women that I just saw in that room are running shit out here. I get pumped. And the reason I want it, back to your point, the reason I want more girl crews is because we can't demonize guy crews or other crews. We need to build our own crews and have empathy for other crews and love our own crews. And I think that's what you've been able to accomplish, which makes a much bigger impact. Everyone's pointing fingers and judging at things instead of doing something about it.
Yeah, well, I think the most important is it's now an equality lounge, and it's a leadership lounge for action. And so we have, just like you.
So, but wait a minute. I know you're going to the equality lounge now. So there is, but I'm like sad. I need a girls' lounge can you please still be?
All the women are there with you, Gary. If you didn't show up, we would be awfully sad. And I just want you to know, I do accept your challenge. I will partner with you any day, anyhow, anywhere, to bring every industry, finance, marketing, media, technology, entrepreneurship to the table. This is what it will take to make the world a better place.
I love you, Shelley. Take care. Stay well.